5% of the active ingredients from the dosage limit should be dissolved in water or acid at 37 degrees Celsius in 45 minutes in the USP-1 or USP-2 apparatus, which is operated at the appropriate speed, typically 100 rpm for USP-1 or 50 rpm for USP-2. Further requirements for dissolution profile comparisons are: at least 12 units should be used for each profile determination. Mean dissolution values can be used to estimate the similarity factor F2. To use mean data, the percentage coefficient of variation at the earlier point should not be more than 20% and the other time points should not be more than 10%. The dissolution measurements of the two products, that mean test and reference, and pre and post change two strains should be made under the same test conditions. The dissolution time points for both the profiles should be the same. For example, for IR products 50, 15, 30, 45 and 60 minutes. For extended release product 1, 2, 3, 5 and 8 hours. Because F2 values are sensitive to the number of dissolution time points, only one measurement should be considered after 85% dissolution of the product. For drug products dissolving 85% or greater in 15 minutes or less, a profile comparison is not necessary. In vitro and to in vivo correlation. In vitro in vivo correlation is a general term that refers to a relationship between a biological property, in vivo input rate produced by a dosage form, and a physiochemical characteristic of the same dosage form in vitro dissolution. As is well known, in vitro dissolution testing is a powerful and useful method for determining products' quality and sometimes to evaluate the clinical performance of dosage forms. The utility of in vitro dissolution as a surrogate for in vivo bioavailability is a very attractive and has been demonstrated for several products. In order to successfully develop an in vitro in vivo correlation in vitro dissolution, it has to be the rate limiting step in the sequence of step leading to absorption of the drug into systemic circulation. Furthermore, to utilize dissolution test as surrogate for bioequivalence, where a relatively simple in vitro test is used in place of human testing, the in vitro in vivo correlation must be predictive of in vivo performance of the product. For four categories of in vivo in vitro correlations have been described in the FDA guidance. The first is level A. A level correlation represent a point-to-point relationship between in vitro dissolution and in vivo input rate. Example, the in vivo dissolution of the drug from the dosage form. Generally, these correlations are linear. However, non-linear correlations are also acceptable. Linear relation between absorption and dissolution demonstrates superimposable data and slope of 1, an intercept of 0 and a coefficient determination of 1. In the case of successful level A correlation, an in vitro dissolution curve can serve as a surrogate for in vivo performance. Therefore, a change in manufacturing site, method of manufacture, raw material supplies, minor formulations, modification, and even product strength using the same formulation can be justified without the need for additional human studies. A level A correlation is considered most informative and very useful from a regulatory viewpoint. Level B. A level B correlation uses the principle of statistical movement analysis. The mean in vitro dissolution time is compared either to the mean residence time or to the mean in vivo dissolution time. Although this type of correlation uses all the in vitro and in vivo data, it is not considered a point-to-point correlation. Further, since it does not uniquely reflect the actual in vivo plasma level curve, this is not very useful from the regulatory point of view. Then next we see the level C. This is the last level. Level C. A level C correlation establishes a single point relationship between the dissolution parameters, example T or percent dissolved in 4 hours, and one pharmacokinetic parameter AUC or Cmax. A level C correlation does not reflect the complete shape of the plasma concentration time curve. Therefore, it is not the most useful correlation from a regulatory point of view. However, this type of correlation can be useful in early formulation development. Some of the parameters used in the single point of correlations are presented. The difference, the parameters used for correlating in vitro dissolution with in vivo data. The in vitro parameters, time for specific amount dissolved, example 50% of the dose dissolved, and in vivo parameters, area under the concentration in bloodstream versus time curve, maximum concentration in bloodstream, fraction absorbed, absorption rate constant, and in vitro parameters, amount dissolved at a specific time point and mean dissolution time, and in vitro parameters, mean residence time, mean dissolution time, mean absorption time, and in vitro parameters, parameter estimated after modeling the dissolution process, and in vivo parameters, concentration at time t, amount absorbed at time t. Then last, multiple level C. A multiple level C correlation relates one or several pharmacokinetic parameters of interest to the amount of drug dissolved at several time points of the dissolution profile. Multiple level C correlation can be useful as level A IV-IVC, that means in vivo in vitro classification from a regulatory point of view. However, if one can develop a multiple level C correlation, it is likely that a level A correlation can be developed as well. If the drug is highly permeable and in vitro dissolution is the rate limiting step, it is very highly likely that a successful IV-IVC can be developed. Then next we see the last, general principles in the development of correlations. The first, IV-IVC should be developed using 2 or more formulations with different release rates. Only one release rate is sufficient if dissolution is condition independent. Second, in vitro dissolution profile should be generated using an appropriate dissolution methodology. What it says? The second is, in vivo dissolution profile should be generated using an appropriate dissolution methodology. The dissolution method used should be the same for all the formulations. And the third one is a bioavailability study should be conducted to determine the in vivo plasma concentration time profiles for each of the formulations. That means preferably this study should be of a crossover study design in adequate number of subjects. And last, in vivo absorption profile is plotted against the in vitro dissolution profile to obtain a correlation. That means the in vivo absorption profile is plotted against the in vitro dissolution profile to obtain a correlation. So here is the end of this chapter, diffusion and dissolution. Hope you like this video. If you like this video, please like this video and also comment this video, and also like, share and subscribe to our channel, and also share this video to your GPAT aspirants, CET aspirants and competitive exams preparations studying students. We made GPAT all section wise topics lectures in this video, and it is absolutely free. So please share this video. So thanks for watching this lecture. Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you.